Hello, I'm Debbie Bell-Hosking for FinextraTV, and I'm joined by Moshe Winegarten of Ecommpay and Todd Clyde of Token.io. We're going to be asking the question about open banking. Do you see it as a payment method or a solution? Welcome to you both.
Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for having us.
Before we get to that question, let's first of all, I don't need to tell you that the payments landscape is constantly evolving and changing, and it's really exciting. Moshe, can I come to you first and just ask, what big developments are you predicting or seeing within the next 12 or 18 months?
No, thanks, Debbie. It's a good question. And I don't want to say it's any one specific thing, but I think there's a natural cycle of evolution we can see in the payments landscape. It happened 20 years ago with the birth of e-commerce. And I think we're going to see it again over the next year and a half. And what we've seen before is the consolidation of various layers back within the stack. So historically, when e-commerce came about, you had acquirers, processors, gateways, and around 2010, the birth of full stack providers, bringing that all in. And over the last 10 years or so, we now see more players in the market, which is exciting. We see orchestration providers, we see subscription bidding providers, standalone open banking providers as well, all within that. But I think over the next 18 months or so, we're going to see more PSPs bring that back within the stack, extending what it means to be a full stack PSP, as opposed to standalone providers of various services.
So perhaps we need to chat to you in 18 months' time and see if you're right.
100%.
And yes, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, so another trend that we see happening at the national level is really this trend towards instant payments. So 84 countries around the world are upgrading their national clearing systems to instant. There's also these initiatives around easier access to those clearing systems. So whereas the first generation of account-to-account payments had to hack their way in through screen scraping or through direct debit or were a single country solution, we now, in India, there's UPI. In Brazil, there's PIX. In the UK, it's open banking. In the EU, it's open banking. So we're finding this instant plus easier access is really enabling account-to-account payments to come into the mainstream.
And you've led me very nicely back to that question, open banking. Do you see it as a payment method over a payment solution?
To me, it's absolutely a payment method. It's how one makes a payment. And instead of choosing a card, I choose to do a bank transfer. So it is getting significant consumer adoption. And I do believe that the card is going to be replaced with pay by bank as the debit instrument, because this is just simply a better, faster, cheaper way to move money directly from your bank account. So it is not the end solution that the merchant demands. It is a key component, and Token focuses on providing that key component, the fastest, cheapest way for PSPs like Ecommpay to launch as part of their full solution.
And based on what Todd's saying here, what does that mean for other providers in the market?
It's a really good question. It's interesting that we've seen different approaches to the market, and I think at Ecommpay, I think we completely aligned with what Todd's saying. Open banking is a payment method. It is gaining ground, it's gaining volume from card volume, but it's essential to offer consumers choice, right? They need to be able to pay, you need to be able to pay, buy things how you want to pay for them, etc. If you think about other payment methods that are on the market today, you don't see standalone providers only selling Bancomat or multi-banco, etc. But it's essential for a PSP to bring that within the offering for merchants to be able to offer to their clients. So when I think about what it means for providers, companies that are focused on open banking have a choice. Do you go direct to merchant? And I think if it's a payment method, it's very hard, the economics and the business model, to maintain that. There are a few players out there today, and I think there are one or two who will reach a level and a scale which can work. But for everyone else, and we've seen it recently in the market, actually, a couple of providers have struggled, unfortunately, haven't made it, because it's hard to do it when it is only a portion of today's consumer spend. And even in the future, consumers, we want to provide them a choice. I think the alternative is providers like Token have gone, they're focused on working with the banks, building that network, building that utility layer for providers like Ecommpay and other PSPs to take it out there to the market. So I think following what I said before, the opportunity is there for payment providers of multiple methods to come out there, adopt and embrace open banking. And I think at Ecommpay we were one of the earliest PSPs to do that. There are some, I think, which are probably trying to avoid it, but I think it's inevitable, as Todd said. There's more and more volumes going to go there, but it's got to sit there amongst a suite of offerings to merchants. So that when we reach out to a merchant, we want to provide for all their payment needs, for all their customers to have as much choice as they have, and a most cost-effective way to do that.
And you're talking about payment needs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Todd now about account-to-account payment, because there is talk about it growing significantly and even being a disruptor to card payments within 5 years. So what infrastructure needs to be in place for fintech to keep up with this growth?
Good. Well, you're absolutely right that it is growing rapidly. So it's growing about 5% month over month in the UK. It's projected to grow 3 times to 80 billion annualized payments in Europe in the next 5 years. This is reflecting consumers' choice. The consumers are shifting their preference away from the use of cards to non-card-based payment methods. And as I said, Pay by Bank will replace the card as the form factor to move money directly from your bank account. So what's needed for the infrastructure? You need an infrastructure layer and you need an application layer. Or to our previous conversation, you need a payment method and you need a payment solution. So Token provides the payment method or the infrastructure. Everything that consumer sees to select their bank account, authenticating the user, initiating the faster payment, what happens when things go wrong, refunds, payouts, providing settlement mechanisms to reconcile and facilitate payouts. So Token provides all that infrastructure, and then we work with solution providers to take that to market. Another thing that he was saying is, I find it also very difficult that those going direct to merchants are going to survive. This is a low-cost payment method. Selling directly to merchants is very expensive. Companies like Ecommpay want to work with a partner who doesn't compete with them. So Token only serves payment service providers. We do not go direct to merchant, and therefore we don't compete with our customers.
That competition is important. It's nice that you've brought that up. And you bring me very nicely now to a question about your partnership. I understand it's been extended in some way, and I wonder, Todd, if you can chat about that. And then I'm hoping to come to you, Moshe, about really how does this impact payment discrimination. But over to you first, just a little bit about this extension within the Ecommpay and the Token.io partnership.
Yeah, so Ecommpay has been a customer of Tokens for over 3 years now. I think we're processing account-to-account payments for them in 13 countries or more. And this announcement is extending that relationship where Token provides virtual accounts in 4 additional countries. So that's France and Ireland and Netherlands and Spain. And the purpose, so the problem that it solves is called IBAN discrimination by provisioning a local bank account, which makes the acceptance rate higher for the merchants that they serve.
And how payment discrimination, you mentioned those 2 words. So this partnership and also considering other institutions as well, what is the impact on payment discrimination, particularly when you think about partnerships similar to what you're in?
Sure. So let me step back a second, right? And it also addresses a little bit of the question that you asked before, what's needed for open banking to really succeed and grow and capture more of the market. I think the early adoption and growth has been in account loading, so movement of money. And really, we're on the verge of really breaking into retail and commerce. One of the key challenges of retail commerce is refunds and being able to do that, which Todd mentioned before. Virtual accounts in general allow us, via token services, to collect funds and aggregate them on behalf of merchants, holding aggregated funds, which allows them to kind of to provide refunds or payouts on behalf of the merchants and settle kind of at the end of the day. Providing that service also allows merchants, let's say, who are based in the UK to collect funds within Europe, so without kind of having cross-border fees, etc., where it may be. What's interesting, within Europe, we know we've got SEPA, the Singular European Payment Area. So in theory, one European virtual account should be great. We can aggregate funds. It allows us, besides doing refunds, to provide immediate payment confirmation, which obviously you as a merchant will want to know, shall I release my goods, right? It can even allow us to do third-party funding verification, so we can see the money's come from yourself, depending if it's a financial services related transaction. But what we're seeing even within SEPA is this discrimination. What that means is if you're a consumer in France and you're sending money and we have a bank account in the Netherlands, my bank might ask me more questions. Hey, you purchase here, we see it's going out the country. So it's within SEPA, but it's going from Netherlands to France. And that extra steps in the customer journey can cause drop-off, right, failure in the transaction, etc. So what we've identified and we worked with Token on is adding more local IBANs within each country within Europe. So once we have success, and we've seen great success in open banking, great adoption, we're looking at how to optimize the payments, how to have higher success rates for our business and our clients. And we've identified this, and we're seeing already some really, really strong results in localizing the virtual accounts and optimizing the payment success.
Great. So Todd and Moshe, thank you so much. It's a little bit like the introduction we had. It's constantly moving and constantly changing. And it's so great to have your input, particularly with regards to your partnership. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thanks for having us. Thank you.